Everyone that's put so much hard work to make sure that happens. Red lights on, red lights go out now for 40 minutes. And Paul Cook does not get away from the front row of the grid at all. So that's a disaster for Paul Cook. He's still there stationary on the grid. The rescue unit has gone past him, and now finally the car fires into life. And he'll go past the rescue unit. That is not the start that Paul Cook wanted. It's not the start we wanted either, because we wanted to see a great fight between those two cars. What it will have now is Paul Cook and later Wayne Lewis trying to battle their way through the field. But it's Mike Cutt then that leads the way. It's Jason Rees in second place in the E92. And in third place, just check on that, yeah, it's the Andrew Pywell starting the M3 that Stewart had driven in the earlier races. But it's Mike Cutt out there in front at the moment, leading in the 144 car.
Paul Cook, as we know, an incredibly quick driver, but that is one negative, I suppose, when he's not driving his car. It's Wayne Lewis's normal mount, and if there's something quite special or idiosyncratic about that car, about getting it off the line, and Paul didn't quite do that. Clearly it's stalling on him, and everybody behind did such a good job. Is there some damage on the 144, or does it sometimes look a little bit skew-whiff like that?
I did one of the same thing myself as it went through Shallow Corner. If there is something that's not quite...
It's almost as if the front bumper has started to work its way loose, but it's not flapping, so maybe it's been like that for much of the day. And, yeah, sometimes these sports cars do look a little dishevelled. They're often put through their paces a lot of times through the course of the year. I'm just hoping that for Mike Cutt, that splitter, the front bumper, doesn't start to drag in any way. I suppose it could be addressed during the pit stop, with these cars needing to be stationary for 1 minute, somewhere between the 15-minute marker and the 30-minute marker into the race. We've already had 2 minutes of this one.
Yeah, that's not right, is it? That is not mounted correctly. Now, I don't think there could have been any contact there, because there's not been anything for him to hit, I don't think. So I imagine there must just be something that's not quite mounted correctly on the bumper on that car, and it has become dislodged. I wonder if the officials will spot that and say, actually, my friend, you're going to need to come into the pit lane to try and get that sorted out. So often that is the kind of thing that would result in a black and orange mechanical, or in this case, bodywork warning flag.
The question is, was it running like that earlier in the day when Mike Cutt was so dominant in, well, almost dominant in the qualifying session? He was pipped to the post, of course.
I didn't notice anything at the time, so maybe it's just something that sort of worked a bit looser as maybe he's hit a curb hard or something, and that's sort of dislodged it, maybe.
Yep. And maybe on the opening lap, we were obviously paying far more attention to the other side of the grid when Paul Cook couldn't get away. Skipping over the curb there is the Pywell number 76. So there, E46 M3, started by Andrew Pywell. It will be handed over to Stewart, who's generally been the quicker of the two today.
It's worth saying Paul Cook got back to 6th at the end of the first lap. Here he is now, in fact, in that number 47 car, down towards the Hislop's chicane he comes, then on to Knickerbrook. So from flat last behind the rescue vehicle, Paul Cook in Wayne Lewis's number 47 BMW E46 M3 3.2 litre car is up into the top 6 and beyond now already. So we've got the leader just at Lodge Corner, I think, already. Yep, and about to come through Deer Leap. Over the line comes Mike Cutt, so he completes a lap. Jason Rees is second. Third place is Andrew Pywell. Fourth is John Brown, and then fifth it will be Paul Cook. And we'll need to keep an eye on his lap times as well. It's his first flying lap. Over the line he goes now, and he has done, that's on 151.2, which is about 9/10 slower than the leader, Mike Cutt, but faster than everybody else apart from Jason Rees.
The pole position time was a 1:48.5, but we're still fairly early on in this race. That's the first flying lap done, so it might be that still tyre temperature is getting up to not the maximum, but the ideal. And the 47 car then down in 5th place after that stall on the grid when everybody else behind did such a good job. I mean, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars that could have potentially made contact with the blue number 47, which has had to have race numbers refitted on one side after one was stripped during that qualifying session. Again, the somewhat dog-eared number 144, Mike Cutt, arrives into Hislops. It's made a right mess of the kidney grille, which is recognisable, instantly recognisable on the front of most BMWs. It might actually be that central piece that is most out of shape.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine he went to the assembly area like that, so maybe it was a wallop of a curb somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely bizarre. And he's not getting away. He's not lapping as fast as he did in qualifying when he did a 1:48.5 or 1:48.6 it was for Mike Cutt. He's done a 1:50.3 on the first flying lap, and he's not getting really away from Jason Rees either as he comes through to complete lap number 2 of the race. That is a 1:49.8, so back below the 150s. Rees did a 1:50.004 that time. They're 2 seconds apart, and then it's Pywell going through in third, Brown fourth, and Paul Cook. Let me have a look at his lap time very quickly. Well, here's a replay. So there was some contact at the start of the race. We missed that because we were so busy looking at what was going on with Paul Cook out of our commentary box window. We didn't see what you'd probably seen on the live stream, which was Mike Cook just making contact with the back. I think it was Jason Rees' car there.
It was, yeah, the number 9. So, it had crossed my mind that maybe as the carnage kicked off and everyone was trying to avoid the stalled Paul Cook car, that maybe they got out of order and perhaps actually Mike Cutt had to just get off the throttle because of cars effectively rejoining, because they'd have to take to the grass or whatnot down towards the first corner. But yeah, Cutt somehow ended up behind Paul Rees, who'd started over his right shoulder and then didn't quite brake in time for Jason Rees where everyone was on cold tyres. And that little nerf into the rear of the number 9 has rather dishevelled the front of that car. It all still looks relatively solid. I know before the mechanical warning flag is shown to anybody, maybe the clerk of the course will just give it a few laps to see whether any of that bodywork's going to work its way loose. As I say, solid for the time being, so no indication that the race leader needs to come into the pits to sort that out. They've all got to stop anyway, so that's the chance maybe to tape something up.
Yeah, and they've got a happy 60-second stationary now. Mike Cutt doesn't have to have a driver change, but if the team are on hand with a large roll of gaffer tape, then maybe they might be able to just effect a temporary repair, but it might be just solid enough to continue as is. There's Andrew Pywell. He's got the sun visor strip on the right way up, I can see, in this race, although this is going to be his last race before he moves to Australia. He's showing that car with his dad Stuart. He'll be out in the second part of the race. John Brown it is in fourth and Paul Cook in fifth. Is Paul Cook closing on them? Well, he did a 1:49.721 that time, so the answer is yes. He was 3.5 seconds faster than John Brown on the last lap. He's now 1.6 seconds behind him. So by my maths, Johnny, that means he should go through next time around. Problems there for the number 71 car of Sean Foley in the GTR. That was the car that wasn't actually out in qualifying, actually, so a bit of a surprise to see it on the grid for this race, although it was on the entry list, but it hadn't appeared in qualifying. But now it appears to be in some strife, and it's been overtaken by the phalanx of 116s that we have taking part in this race as well. Looks like it's going to come to a stop.
Lots of extra aerodynamic pieces on there, dive planes on the front and the rear. Now the 47 car has got ahead of the yellow BMW driven by John Brown. So Brown with no answer to the speed of Paul Cook. Paul, remember, sharing with Wayne Lewis. We think it was the Wayne Lewis time earlier on, which was the 1:48.5. Although he might have enlisted Paul to do some qualifying as well, left it incredibly late. And Paul Cook working hard at the wheel. I noticed that the 47 car is a left-hand drive car and the John Brown is a right-hand drive. It's the stricken GTR at the top of the hill. That's a difficult place to encounter a very slow-moving M3 GTR.
It had become stationary temporarily, hadn't it? But seems to have managed to get some oomph again to get up the hill. I was worried it was going to be completely stranded there, but we do now have a safety car being called. Yellow flags and a safety car. Now, whether that's a reaction to the Foley car that was stationary and has now not got going again, it may be, in which case it might be quite a short-lived safety car period. How far away are we from the pit lane window opening? About 5 minutes and change away, because it opens 15 minutes into the race. We've had just under 10 so far. But we're all going to queue up. So this helps Paul Cook, doesn't it? Because he was, as they crossed the timeline, 17.5 seconds behind the race leader Mike Cutt. that gap will be very much compressed by this safety car, because they've not really got into too much traffic yet, so it should just be the Rees and Pywell cars between them, as the Sean Foley machine I can see from our commentary box window now does make it to pit lane and out of harm's way.
Yeah, so very grateful indeed. I'm sure Paul Cook and indeed Wayne Lewis will be to see this quelling of the race pace, neutralization, if you like, to close the gaps. And a safety car is always a good thing, unless you're leading a race, generally. And also any other bigger gaps, which, well, the biggest is actually Pywell to Rees. So the Pywell number 76 is going to gain big time now as well. As they headed across the line, admittedly speeds were starting to ebb away because the safety car boards were out, but it was just over a second gap between Mike Cutt and Paul Rees and the number 9 car. There they are, in fact, coming out of Knickerbrook and up Clay Hill, but they're about to be joined by the Andrew Pywell driven number 76. That is the E46 M3, and everybody else about to descend on that C.
That's right. So rest of the field sort of coming through now. We've got the sort of 116 subclass coming through. That's being headed by Ethan Hall. But there's the race leader already into Lodge Corner once again. So the safety car, although it's going to be out there, it's quite a disjointed field. So there's the safety car, just makes it out after the last of the 116s, just in time to pick up the race leaders, which are heading through Oulton Corner now. Cutt and Rees, because even on that lap behind the safety car, they were lapping in the sort of 2:15s, which is still a respectable lap time for some categories around here at Oulton Park. But they've now been greeted finally by the VW Golf, by the 750 Motor Club safety car, a new safety car that we have. Made its first appearance a few weeks ago. And it's picked up Mike Cutt and Jason Rees now. And what should happen is that the whole of the field should form up behind it before we were able to go racing once again. But that's going to take a while, because there's some rather slower cars at the back of the field that need to make some smartish progress. I think the safety car will be doing quite a slow lap here, Johnny.
Yeah, it crossed my mind that there may be some sort of other issue out on the track, but I think you've called it spot on, as in Sean Foley's big M3 GTR had stopped on the run up Clay Hill, and that is a very fast part of the circuit. Even if it hadn't stopped, if it was doing walking pace, you've then got a blind crest with a car virtually stopped, and everybody else, certainly the front runners within the top class, they're not in classes as such in this annual race, but the cars that took pole position and those that occupied the front 2 rows, let's say, the last thing they want to be encountering, particularly if they're nose to tail and therefore the second car is unsighted, is a stopped car, even if it is off the racing line. So Clark, of the course, had little choice but to go with the safety car, the lights of which are now out. So it does look like it's going to be coming in at the end of this lap. Would you agree, Ian?
I think so. And as you say, nothing else out there. There's no reports been called in by the marshals of any other issues out there. So I think we are going to go racing once again. And I reckon the safety car is going to arrive at the pit lane about the time the pit lane window opens. And I'm just checking the regulations here. And there is nothing to say that you can't make a pit stop behind the safety car, as there is in some classes these days. So that's just a point of note as well. And so we could have potentially drivers diving even straight into the pit lane behind the safety car here. We can see the green flag being prepared on the start line to get the race back underway. But let's see how many of the cars stay out on track and how many decide to make their mandatory 60-second stop.
I'm not sure the leaders will actually be able to get in legally, but maybe if maybe if you're 4th or 5th, you might be able to.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
absolutely.
But the safety car is going to come into pit lane as we expected, and none of the first 7 or 8 are going to take that invitation. It's actually 3 abreast, well, it appears to be 3 abreast, 2 abreast, let's say. as now the making quick progress is the Cook and Lewis car, still driven by Paul Cook. We're yet to see, of course, any driver changes, but pursued all the way now by the Pywells, who Cook has just overtaken.
Yeah, up to third, and that wasn't a particularly smart start by the Pywells, was it? Because they lost quite a lot of ground to Cut and Rees, who were well back into the race. They were sort of 3.5 seconds ahead as they crossed the timing line, so they were caught napping a little bit, and that'll be to the frustration of Paul Cook, because that's cost him time directly there. So it's Cut leading, number 144, Jason Rees second, number 9, Paul Cook, number 47, is in third place, trying to put daylight between himself and Pywell now. But it's John Brown in 5th, and 6th place is the treble 5 car of Matthew Highcock in the 120 coupe. We've got our first pit visitor. I think that's the number 88 car that is into the pit lane. That's John Turner, who's going to hand over to Ray Grimes, a local favourite, the second part of this race.
Paul Rees putting massive pressure on Mike Cutt's car, which may not be behaving particularly well with the airflow across the front of that car at all sorts of different angles. The problem is, as soon as those little cracks appear, the air's just going to force the front bumper further down onto the road surface. Got the headlight clusters that are at different angles as well as that kidney grille, but it's all hanging on pretty well so far. Only two working headlights, but one slightly brighter than the other. And is this the point then that we see Mike Cutt peeling off, or is he happy to stay out? Because remember, you've got 15 minutes in order to make your pit stop, and the top two do indeed go around for another lap.
Certainly do then. So that's 8 laps now in the book, and let's have a look at the gap between Rees and Cook. That came down by a few tenths, so 3.9 seconds from Cut to Cook in third, and just about 3 seconds exactly between Jason Rees in second place, and Paul Cook in third place. And still some of the stragglers at the back of the field are still on their sort of first lap out of the after the restart. You can see the marshals waving their green flags there, including the 121 car of Luke Fox, change of number from the programme when he was in there as 212, and he's doing battle with James Waring, isn't he? Number 228. A bit further road ahead of both of them is Ethan Hall, who I think is the best of the unofficial 116 class that we have in this race.
Yeah, but nothing at all between 121 Luke Fox and the Waring car. In fact, today one disappears behind the other, the silhouette entirely eclipsed of the 228. Who's going to get the better of the exit then out of Druids? Waring maybe marginally, but he couldn't really put the car anywhere to benefit him. Headlights are on to try and distract Fox as much as possible.
Ethan Hall into the pits from the sort of 116 subclass lead, I can see. So he's gone a lap earlier than some of the rest of them, but it looks like that's Waring, isn't it, that's dived into the pit lane as well.
Yes, it was very last minute that, so obviously a decision that I think he was making, unless he got the reminder over the start-finish line by a pit board, and then he sort of temporarily forgotten and thought, oh blimey, got to be into pit road on this occasion. So he dives in 228, but all of the quick runners, the top 7, still happy to stay out. Or having said that,
no, Mike Cutt's just appeared in pit lane now from the lead of the race, so he hands the lead over to Jason Rees. There is Mike Cutt. Now let's see if they do anything about the damage on the front of that car. It's just hiding behind James Waring's 116. We'll see if we can spot out of the commentary box window what's going on with that. There's certainly some interest being taken in it by team members, and it looks like there probably is a big roll of gaffer tape there, as I exclusively predicted. Who could possibly have foreseen that might be a solution here? So just to make sure that does stay in place all the way to the end of the race. Matthew Highcock, the Manchester driver, is into the pit lane as well, Stockport in fact that he is from, but now running his own race team, MHR. So quite a few cars getting on for half of the field in the pit lane at the moment, and that means it's now these two that are contesting the lead. There's Paul Cook in second place, number 47. He's now only just about a second or so behind Jason Rees, Johnny, as they head down to the chicane.
And James Waring is back into the race already, so the 60 seconds have elapsed for his 228 numbered car, the 116i. But yes, very close now, as it has been for, well, not all of the race, because remember when Paul Cook dropped to the rear of the field, but he's worked his way up to what is actually now second position, but not quite that place in the net places.
What?
Meanwhile, drama.
Yeah, Ethan Hall, he's gone off and pulled off onto the Foster's circuit there and into retirement, onto the rally stage, I think. So looks like Ethan Hall, who was our quickest driver in the 116s, something must have happened in that pit stop. That's gone a little bit awry, and he's out of the race, it would seem to me. Jason Rees is into the pit, so Paul Cook on the road takes the lead of the race. Now, he's not had to do it by overtaking anybody because Rees has come into the pit lane. But Paul Cook staying out there for at least one more lap. We're into the second half of the race now, less than 20 minutes to go. The question will be, where does he come out, or where does everyone else come out relative to him? And Paul Cook eventually hands over to Wayne Lewis. There's the 714 car, so that's David Smith now that's gone out in that one, the 45-year-old driving coach from Norwich in his second season, sharing the car with his brother. Lewis Tyndall has driven that car previously as well, and I think Ethan Hall as well.
So you've got to be stationary for a minute, but the transition time from pit in to pit out might be about 50-odd seconds, so there's a strong chance of the front runners falling a full lap behind this 47 car until Paul Cook pits and hands over to his teammate Wayne Lewis. There was a puff of smoke there, probably tyre smoke, as the car walloped the curbing at Hislops. Here is the 144, having done a pit stop. Mike Cutt is back onto the racetrack.
Yeah, and I can just see Wayne Lewis. He's heading down into the pit lane as well, so he's going to be getting ready to get in the car shortly. He's not got his helmet on yet, though, as the number 9 car of Jason Rees is going to get back out into the race. It's going to be touch and go whether that arrives in front or behind Mike Cutt. I think it's going to be behind by the looks of it. Those two exiting the pit lane now and coming through Oulton corner. I think it has probably been the fact that the Mike Cook car is ahead of Jason Rees. Paul Cook has stayed out there for one more lap, though.
And he's going to have, well, one more, and that's about it. It's a limit, is it not? Trying to work out now how much time left, because it was 15 to 30. That should remain 10 minutes left. No, so he's still got a bit of time to play with.
Yeah.
Yep.
And into the pits now comes Andrew Pywell. Stuart Pywell has been waiting patiently for his turn. The car's now parked in beneath our commentary box at a 45-degree angle. Now there is a very interesting situation, because look, Jason Rees ahead of Mike Cutt on the road, and now they're in traffic as well. So somehow Jason Rees did manage to make it out in front of Mike Cutt, which was the opposite of what I thought probably was going to happen there.
Yeah, Jason Rees with that leapfrog effect in car number 9, with Mike Cutt then having now a real challenge on his hands, because not only is he going to catch the Rees car, which is just a bit further up the road, but also try and fashion an opportunity to get by. This is the best place to do it, I suppose, with some traffic in and around that aren't on the same lap, although actually in this scenario it might be that...
There was contact there. Jason Rees and the back-marking car, one of the... Which one was it, Fox or Duffel? Can't quite work out which one it was.
Well, they've both tried to be in that car today, of course.
Yeah, and that car's gone off in the gravel, and I don't think it's come out on the other side.
But the lead has changed in the process.
It has. Well, unsurprisingly, with the Rees getting into the side of that 116, so Cuts has come back out in front of those two. The car is still in the gravel. It must be the 121, because there's the 212 car. So that means it's Fox, Luke Fox it is, that's into the gravel trap. As into the pit lane now comes a rather smoky Paul Cook.
Yeah, that was the smoke I was seeing when it was heading down through the gears and turning right and left at Hislops, and maybe that's just as it slows down. The smoke has disappeared now at pit lane speeds, 31 miles per hour. So now the driver change can take place. Meanwhile, it is nose to tail between the Pywell car and John Brown.
And we're getting a safety car. A safety car, and that will be because of the Luke Fox car that is out there. So this could play into the hands possibly of Paul Cook then, and Wayne Lewis. You'd have thought so. The cars, they should be seeing the yellow flags. They should be backing off, of course, all the way around the lap, although they won't have actually seen the safety car yet. They certainly can't overtake with the yellow flags going out, so this should play into the hands of Paul Cook, who should be able to get back out onto the track. Also Wayne Lewis, who should be able to get back out onto the track in front of Mike Cutt. Cutt's not completely slowed to walking pace exactly there, has he? I mean, he has slowed, I think, compared to his usual lap times, but he's pretty cognizant of what might be happening here as well.
Wants to lose as little time as possible, but of course he's heading towards the incident scene now, so there needs to be some evidence of him easing off, or at least not doing the best lap of his race so far. Marshals won't fully attend Luke Fox's stranded car until the safety car is properly out on the circuit. So the cars we're interested in, Mike Cutt and the Reese car right in behind, but already gone is now the driver change. Wayne Lewis, the 47 car, is away out of the first corner and should be ahead.
Yeah, now, where's the actual safety car in all of this? Who has that picked up, if anybody, as yet? 'Cause this is always confusing as well. We've talked about sort of difficult and confusing situations. How it has picked up the Smith car, and yeah, Wayne Lewis is behind it. So good work by the 750 Motor Club safety car crew. They've basically picked up the lead. Just 2 back markers ahead that they will wave through. There are 14 minutes to go in this race. Hopefully that car of Luke Fox can be recovered from Druids before those 14 minutes have elapsed, so we can get some more racing before the end of this ultimate BMW race. But it's been quite fascinating. The one thing I did wonder there was whether there'd be a red light at the end of the pit lane or something, which might then have stymied Wayne Lewis's attempts to get back out in front of Paul Cook. It didn't. But what's interesting now is that there's only one backmarking car between them. So if we do get some more racing, I think it's going to be a grandstand finish.
If there is a red light, then Wayne Lewis didn't stop for it.
No.
But I don't think there was.
No, there wasn't. I did check. It was
Fine.
green. Yep.
And you reckon that the 2 cars immediately behind the safety car will be waved by,
Should be.
because they otherwise are going to be massively compromised by where the safety car has appeared on the racetrack. But we're not expecting the John Thomas car to be... not John Thomas.
Who's John Thomas?
I don't know. I've just made that name up. Who's driving 88? John Turner.
Ray Grimes now, I think.
Ray Grimes has moved into it, yes,
Yeah.
because that's being shared.
Yeah.
So not expecting the sky blue and black car to be waved by and effectively being given a lap back again, because
Yeah.
that's not how this works,
No,
is it?
no, it isn't.
So yes, the cushion of John Thomas, or otherwise known as Ray Grimes, is there. And that will maybe benefit what we think will be the race leader, Wayne Lewis, once this situation has been untangled somewhat.
Absolutely. Right. So just a question then of how quickly this incident up at Druids can be dealt with. The Luke Fox car, and it was sort of a side-to-side contact with Jason Reese, as Jason Reese, the faster car, was coming through to lap the little 116. Sadly that ended with Luke in the gravel trap. Joining into retirement, Ethan Hall and Sean Foley. The best of the 116s now is James Waring, I think, in the number 228 car. 9th position overall, but he looks to be the best of the 116s. The best of the 120s, not that there's an official class for them, is Matthew Hycock in 6th place overall. But it's the sort of M3s of Wayne Lewis, Mike Cutt, Jason Reese and Stuart Pywell and John Brown that fill the first 5 positions. Safety car lights are still on, are they?
Not sure.
Not sure about that, but there's a queue of cars right behind it and there's no sign of anyone holding a green flag on the start line, so I think we're going to get at least one more lap behind the safety car while we wait for Luke Fox's car to be recovered. We're down to 11 minutes of this race remaining. Safety car lap is, well, that one was, yeah, it's about 3 minutes, isn't it? 3 minutes 20, so can do a bit quicker than that, but we're going to probably have at most about 8 minutes of racing to go. The recovery truck has arrived on the scene, but it's parked some distance away from the car that it needs to recover, so it's going to be a bit longer. Might be a couple more laps behind the safety car, I fear, Johnny, before this race gets back underway.
Yeah, the difficulty with having an HGV or 2 on the scene is that everyone's going to be a little bit apprehensive about driving those into the gravel trap, because I have seen flatbeds get stuck in gravel traps as well.
Yeah.
They weigh a bit. So concern for the car right at the back of the pack there that was signalling to one of the marshals with the window down. It's still circulating at this stage. what it needs really is a snatch vehicle of some description, maybe one of those JCBs to go into the gravel trap with its much larger wheels and tyres to retrieve Luke Fox's car. Well, this is all playing very nicely at this stage into the hands of Wayne Lewis and Paul Cook. They will be hoping this safety car stays out for another 10 minutes to confirm the win, although I think they're racers at heart, so they would like to do some hard work to try and fend off the chasing Mike Cut.
Wayne Lewis in that case wouldn't have done a single racing lap, would he? Would have driven the whole thing behind the safety car.
Easiest stint ever in his career.
Absolutely. The pit window is closed, which is somewhat academic because everyone has now made their pit stops anyway. But the pit window is closed for the record. That closed about half a minute ago. So it's number 47, Wayne Lewis, that leads. Number 144, Mike Cutt, is second. Number 9, Jason Rees, is third. Number 76, Stuart Pywell, is fourth. In fifth place is number 7, John Brown. Sixth is treble 5, Matthew Highcock. Seventh is the 55 car of Lewis Charlton. There's a very long tow rope being attached to Luke Fox's car. Eighth is number 88, Ray Grimes. Ninth is number 228, James Waring. And 10th is the number 234 car, which is that of Lee Pearce, the driver from Bromley, in his 116. So it's going to be at least another lap behind the safety car as well, because they're just going to arrive any moment now at the scene at Druids where the car is being recovered. And we just keep our fingers firmly crossed that we do get some more racing before the end of the 40 minutes that we have allowed for this Ultimate BMW race. Because if we do, we could be in for quite a finish, I reckon. No efforts have been made yet to wave those slower cars past, which I thought there might have been by now.
Yeah, I think that the clerk of the course is apprehensive about doing that, because you're then going to have David Smith, Neil Smith and another car, which I haven't yet to identify, pounding round to try and catch up the safety car train with vehicles on the circuit at Druids. So
well, the good news is that they've got the BMW now out of the gravel trap, and so that makes it easier to just tow that car away now. So
I think once they disappear, once they disappear from Druids, the wave by will happen. Well, unfortunately, there won't be quite enough time then for those cars to, well, get anywhere close to catching their fellow runners in these classes that we're sort of hanging on this race, even though they don't actually exist.
Yeah. So we've got 7 minutes and 40 seconds now remaining in the race. So we can afford 2 more safety car laps, which would then give us, at the current pace, which would then give us 1 more racing lap. So we can afford 2 more safety car laps. We'd hope only to have 1, though, I guess, which might give us time for maybe 2 or 3 more laps of racing. We need something about 4 minutes, I reckon, in order to get 3 laps in. Right, that is a good sign. That is a very good sign, because we can see now the car being towed away, so that should be in pit lane very much longer.
Wave by's happened.
It has. So, as you say, I don't think we're going to see those 2 back markers catch the back of the safety car train, but I think we are going to be good to go racing this time. And the problem is the safety car can't accelerate too much, because it got to stay behind the car because it's just waved through. Oh, now that is interesting.
So Ray Grimes is allowed to at least get to the front.
Well, I don't know if he's allowed to. He has done.
Yeah, that's a good point. And now the more difficult obstacle is the safety car.
Yeah.
And there's no indication yet that he's going to be allowed to get past that.
Safety car's probably thinking, what are you doing there?
I mean, it does sort of simplify the restart if you've not got any lapped cars trapped between the first and the second place car.
It's like Abu Dhabi 2021, this, isn't it?
It's turning into that, yes. 1 or 2 maybe thinking they've had instruction, hearing voices in their head, maybe. And Ray Grimes and John Turner's car is now effectively the race leader. Well, it's not, but it's trying to get its lap back again on the Wayne Lewis car. Well, now Mike Cutt does have clear line of sight to the 47, which, whether that was a legal manoeuvre or not for Ray Grimes, is the end result.
Yeah.
And Jason Rees actively involved as well. We know Rees has had pace all day. Ray Grimes almost holding his hands up saying, what am I supposed to be doing now? Well, probably not be there.
Yes, precisely. Yeah, it should just be the cars that are between the safety car and the race leader normally that are waved through. But that's not what has happened Well, it is what's happened here, because Ray Grimes has been waved through. The cars that have been waved through are now just passing our commentary box. There's the leading cars, and
He's given the place back.
he's given, yeah, how willingly or not, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, we're going to have time for 3 more laps, I think, by the time they come across the line this time. So that is enough for a race, isn't it, around Oulton Park? We've got Wayne Lewis, we've got Mike Cutt, we've got Jason Rees, we've got Stuart Pywell, all in contention, all pretty close together. Safety car has headed into the pit lane. So we're now under the control of Paul Cook, who comes up and over the line. Mike Cutt reluctant to pass the Ray Grimes car, and he now might be passed by Jason Rees on the inside line into Oulton corner. Rees goes through and gets ahead of Mike Cutt. I think Cutt was probably doing the right thing there, not wanting to pass the Ray Grimes car, which has now been passed by several cars, of course. But it's cost him a bit of ground to Wayne Lewis. He's managed to get himself back ahead of Jason Rees, but in fact, he's not as far behind Wayne Lewis as I thought he might be after all of that.
True. I do agree with you, though, that Mike Cutt, I don't think he could overtake Ray Grimes until they got to the control line. Otherwise, that was judged to be overtaking under the safety car. Yes, you're seeing the green flags fly from the starting gantry, but not allowed to overtake. And now there's contact at Shell Oil's hairpin between Rees and Cutt, and he's into the wall. He's into the tyre barrier on the exit of Shell Oil's hairpin, and that was a bit of miscommunication, perhaps, or maybe Jason Rees thought there was an open door there, which Mike Cutt swiftly closed, but it was just a bit too late. And now Rees's run over Hilltop is very good in comparison to Wayne Lewis.
Side by side for the lead of the race, then down towards Hislops for the 16th time in this race, and Rees has gone through, but you have to say that's 2 instances he's now been involved with where drivers have ended up going off the circuit. He's in the lead of the race. It's Wayne Lewis second, John Brown is third, and Stuart Pywell is in fourth. These are a long way clear of the rest now as they climb up Clay Hill towards Druids. We've got that Mike Cutt car off. I don't know if it's managed to get going again. Yes, it has. It's limping to a position of safety, so I think the race will continue. I was worried that it might not. We've got 2 minutes and 58 seconds to go, so time for 2 more laps, Johnny. Can Wayne Lewis fight back here?
Well, Wayne Lewis has got his hands full with the John Brown car right on his boot lid. And I'm afraid what was a fairly mangled front end on Mike Cutt's car has become even worse now. And probably the 2 bits of contact through the course of this race now prevent him from continuing. But at least he's driven the car to a safe location, and it means that it can stay green down at the bottom of the hill as John Brown runs a little bit wide coming out of Old Hall Corner. On towards Denton's they go, and Brown still with company with Stuart Pywell right behind him as well. These 4 cars, minus Mike Cutt actually, have been the stars of the show to this point. No surprise to see these M3s then dictating the pace, but it could be any one of these 4 finishing on a podium.
It could be, really. It's anyone's race, this. Rees has been ahead for the best part of a lap now, but he's not made much of a break, has he? There'll be time for 1 more lap to go at the end of this one. It's Wayne Lewis in second, who's still, of course, getting up to speed in this car. Paul Cook had it for the first part of the race. He's in it for the second part. Didn't have a particularly comfortable ride there through Britain's that time, I didn't think, and Rees might have gained a bit more advantage as a result of that. Of course, they had to have the yellow flags there as well with Mike Cutt's car off, so that's something to bear in mind. So it's still Rees leading, Lewis second, Brown third, Pywell fourth, as they're about to head through the chicane or out of the chicane, I should say, for the penultimate time.
Up the hill they go, a back marker to deal with next up, but to be honest, Jason Rees has made a jump for the race lead. He led by 0.9 of a second at the start of this lap, and now up the inside tries to go Wayne Lewis, but that's going to compromise his exit speed out of Druids, and here comes John Brown now all over the back of the blue 47. There's no space there though either, because they're having to dive by the Smith 116i, so that on the run from the Paul Warwick Bridge in towards Lodge. They've stayed in the same order, but massively compromised in comparison to Jason Rees, who leads now by almost 5 seconds.
And now we've got Pywell having a look up the inside of John Brown as they go on to the final lap of the race. This for the final position on the podium. It's looking like Jason Rees with that 4.5 second advantage is looking good for the on-the-road win here. I'm sure there'll be some words after the race with a couple of incidents involving him, but then he's got this big gap back to Wayne Lewis in second, John Brown third, and Stuart Pywell in fourth, desperately seeking a podium to round out the day here at Oulton Park at BMW Live. One of the back-marking 120 coupes that it's best to get out of the way. But there goes Jason Rees. You can see the advantage he has over these three cars, and you can still throw a blanket over them.
Certainly so. They all got through actually past the all-white 120, and now squeezing through in the second place will go John Brown in the yellow number 7. He did that just before the turn in at Britain's, so a change for second place as car 7, the Glaswegian in his 46 M3, up into second. Surely way too much to do to catch Jason Rees, who is already at his slops. But what can the Lewis/Cook combination, driven by Wayne Lewis at the moment, do about John Brown making a break? Doesn't look like a great deal as the flame spits from the exhaust of number 47. So maybe Stuart Pywell will have a shout at getting third position, although the speed actually up the Clay Hill is very good from the 47 BMW. So maybe not entirely out of second place with a few more corners to go here.
Meanwhile, it's Jason Rees, the driver from Pontypool in the E92 M3 that heads into Lodge Corner for the final time in the parklimited.com entered car. That's the garage business that Jason runs. He's up to the line now, and he takes the checker flag to win the ultimate BMW race here at BMW Live at Oulton Park. Second place goes to John Brown in number 7. Third place goes to number 47, Wayne Lewis and Paul Cook. Fourth place to number 76, Stuart and Andrew Pywell. And then we've got to wait for the fifth place car to come through because there's quite a gap back to, I think, what should be Matthew Highcock coming through next. The sixth place car has just crossed the line, in actual fact. That is the Lewis Charlton number 55 car for the driver from Whitchurch, another local driver. And more cars a lap down coming through, including the 714 car, which is the Smith brothers. David Smith at the wheel of that at the moment. Then Ray Grimes, the ARDS instructor. He comes through next on the road. But it's Matthew Highcock now that does cross the line to take fifth place in the treble 5 car. And we'll look to see who's going to be the best of the 116s. It should be James Waring. He was 2.3 seconds to the good as they came through last time. There's the car that was in second place. Yeah, that's the 234 car of Lee Pearce, but the car just going over the line now, there it is James Waring, another Matthew Highcock Racing car. So he takes the unofficial 116 honours in this ultimate BMW race. But a win for Jason Rees, and not without its moments though, Johnny.
No, cracking race and full of incident and intrigue. I'm not sure necessarily Mike Cutt will agree with my assessment because he could easily have won that race. The safety car came out. That massively benefited Paul Cook and Wayne Lewis, who had begun their pit stop just before the caution. And of course, if you're pit stopping and everyone else is told to decrease their speed and have to pursue the safety car instead, that's a huge advantage for pit stopping cars, because their opponents will have all pitted when their cars were at full speed around the racetrack. So we thought that that was going to be an advantage to the 47. Didn't quite count on, though, a restarting Jason Rees, who was driving a bit like a man possessed, to be honest. But he did make some contact with certainly one car. And if we remember back to the start of the race, there was contact at the very start as well.
Yes,
so actually, maybe this is very, very much a provisional result. We have to call it as we see it, though.
Yeah.
And aside from those moments, Jason Rees has driven expertly well all day.
Yeah, absolutely right. So Jason Rees is the winner by 6.9 seconds. So car number 9, Jason Rees, winning by 6.9 seconds. Second place goes the way of number 7, John Brown. Third place, number 47, Wayne Lewis and Paul Cook. Wayne Lewis bringing the car home. Fourth, number 76, Stuart Pywell, who brought the car home, Andrew Pywell having started. Fifth place, the treble 5, Matthew Highcock. Sixth to 55, Lewis Charlton. Seventh to John Turner and Ray Grimes, and John Thomas as well in that car, I think he was at one point. Eighth place, number 228, James Waring. Ninth to 234, Lee Pearce, and rounding out the top 10 was number 34, Toby O'Reilly. Johnny, it's been good to have you back in the 750 Motor Club commentary box. Enjoyed your day?
Thoroughly, yeah. I mean, it's been relentless racing, and that's the beauty, I suppose, of being part of just one element of BMW Live. But lots of BMW action, but also some variety elsewhere. And I mean, some of the stand-up stuff for me has actually come from the historic 750 Formula Series, which says a lot for just about the oldest club championship in the world, still providing side-by-side. Very difficult to predict race action.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm not sure how many of the categories are to be repeated in the later visit of the 750 Motor Club here to Oulton Park. Possibly very few. But
none of them, I think.
None of
So
them.
you're going to have
Excellent.
a completely different set of races next time you're here.
Bring it on.
Absolutely.
That's what I say. But thank you very much for the invitation. I have enjoyed it to no end.
And you'll be back here with the Alpha Live stream crew in September, and a mystery yet to be named commentator. Well, I found him.
Not even you know.
Oh, that's exciting, isn't it?
It is.
Thanks, Johnny. It's been great to have you with us today. A quick thanks to all of the marshals who've done such sterling work here at Oulton Park today. They've had quite a bit to do. They've been kept relatively busy. So many, many thanks to all of you for your efforts here this weekend. It's very much appreciated. And thanks, of course, also to all of the officials of the 750 Motor Club, scrutineers, timekeepers, race admin, clerk of the course, and many more that I've forgotten to mention as well. So many, many thanks to everyone at the 750 Motor Club and at the BMW Car Club as well for putting on BMW Live. It's been a great event, a good day. I say almost perfectly dry during the course of the day. And BMW Live, organised by the BMW Car Club, has been a great success. So many thanks for you for that. But we can now head down for the final time today to Kieran Mogg. So from Johnny and myself, it's a very good evening.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm down here with the race winner, Jacob Rees. That's Jason Rees, sorry, not Jacob. I don't know where I got Jacob from. Yeah, almost. Very interesting race.
It was an interesting race, yeah. We had a couple of come-ins together. One straight off the start, really, to be honest. Somebody a little tap in the rear end, so that put me off a little bit, to be honest, and then it come past then. But we got settled into the race. It was pretty good. There was a couple of little taps here and there, but it was good. And then safety car came out, so we'll bunched up again and away to go again, really, to be honest. And then just a blast to the finish, and literally a blast.
It looked like it was proper good fun, though. So all of you were just properly tussling the entire way around the lap. It looked amazing.
Yeah, it was very close racing, in all fairness. That car there is very suited to the slicks. On the treaded tyres, not so good, but it comes into itself, really, on the slicks. So it's more enjoyable to drive on them tyres.
So you definitely look comfortable out there. Is this a track that you like?
It's a track I like now. Not so good last year when we came here for the ultimate race. We had a little bit of bad luck on that, but I've enjoyed today, to be honest. We haven't had a very good start to the year, so it was nice to get some nice finishes in and just have the car reliable.
100%, and a fantastic way to end the day.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you. We'll move on to our second place, John Brown. John, can I just grab you over here? Is that all right? Cheers, thank you very much. So let's bring you to the front. So we're just talking to Jason about that last couple of laps. It was a proper blast.
That was unbelievable. That was so much fun, honestly. That's exactly what we signed up for. Yeah. And good, clean fun. That was the main thing. But yeah, it was great, honestly. I'm getting big smiles.
So you're not too upset about coming P2, even though, very close?
No. Jason was on slicks, obviously, and he's quick, so no, P2's more than enough, more than I could have expected, so that was great. I was actually hoping for first on treaded tyres, so this is a bonus. So yeah, that was great.
So a nice way to end the day for you then.
Definitely. Thanks a lot to 750 and BMW Car Club. Brilliant, loved it.
Awesome, well congratulations.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Cheers, thank you very much. If we can get the Lewis and Cook guys to come over here for a second. Can I, both of you? Can I just grab you over? I'll just grab you over here just a second. All right, so you finished the race.
Yep.
Talk to us about that last couple of laps. Sorry.
Well, it was. I think I had where Brown was, and there's some contact between Jason and Cutsy. He spun in front of me, and then he went zipped past, and I couldn't get back in touch with him. I think Andrew, who did the first stint, did most of the hard work, and I just took what was supposed to be the easy part and cocked it all up. So yeah.
No, it's obviously it was a very interesting last couple of laps. Looked very tough though.
Yeah, very broken up with safety cars and hard to get into the rhythm really. But yeah, good fun all in all.
Awesome, congratulations anyway. Well, I think that just about sorts it out for BMW Live here at Oulton Park. So